Yo, 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 what is up, my fallopian tubers? Cesario from the barrio coming back at you with another video for your butt. And it's going to be a response video and a correction video. We'll respond to Dustin and Blake's, I think, what are they, a 400 sub giveaway, Silver Jackify. And my correction is my last mail day that I did. I thought it was one of my purchases, but I didn't read the letter. As you guys know, I'm just not the big huge letter guy. I don't write letters and all that stuff, but this was from Mark Adamson. The reason I was confused because he put from Fargo, and believe it or not, guys, I got like 4 different people that I get mail from Fargo now with the Mark Adamson. So it's pretty interesting. But thanks a lot, Adam. He sent me Mark Adamson. He sent me a bunch of Griffies to replenish mine because you know, just the way the community is. I had a small Griffey collection, and some guy just gave me a crazy ass Seager autograph, on card Bowman. It was just, and he collected nothing but Griffey, so I sent him all my Griffies, and he was kind enough to help me out with refilling those up. Okay, so for Dustin and Blake's, they want to know your top 10 baseball players of all time. And this was very hard, man. I had a list of like 50 or 60 guys that I just could not break down, so then I decided to go by position. There's only 9 positions, so one will just be the greatest all-around player. So we'll start from the top. With me, it's Willie Mays, who's the greatest all-around player ever. I had behind him, as with that same title, I had Mickey Mantle, and maybe even Shoeless Joe Jackson, but there are other. Mantle was hurt most of the time, and Shoeless got cut short. So Willie Mays is the only one who really played out his career, and I'd have to put him as the greatest of all time, all around. So then we go to pitcher. So for pitcher, I got Sandy Koufax. Once he learned to calm down, he's one of those pitchers that didn't do so great his first couple of years. Just all he had was his fastball, throwing as fast as he can. And once he slowed down, he gained great control. And during those few years where he was on top of his game, he was the best ever. And behind him, I had Satchel Paige, Walter Johnson, and then what could have been Steve Dalkowski. For catcher, I have Josh Gibson as the greatest catcher ever. A lot of people might say Johnny Bench, Yogi Berra, which I do agree with if you're just talking about Major League Baseball. But if we're talking about baseball as a whole, Josh Gibson was probably the greatest catcher ever. Then at first base, I have Lou Gehrig. There wasn't the only other person I could that I had close to him was Stan Musial, and Lou Gehrig. I loved his history, and that's one of the reasons why. As much as I used to love Don Mattingly, he could have been my number 1 player. He got asked one time, about Lou Gehrig. He had no idea who Lou Gehrig was, the greatest first baseman ever from the Yankees. So I kind of moved him down on my list. For second base, I got Jackie Robinson. The only other person behind Jackie Robinson was Roger Hornsby, who might have had a better career. But Jackie Robinson, he became a rookie late in his career. And what he had to go through just to get his numbers. I could imagine if he played today without the pressures of back then. Not just talking about the pressures, of the people and criticism, but even just on the field, getting thrown at all the time. These guys had to worry about getting thrown at. It's crazy. Getting spiked. So then at second base, shortstop, I got Ernie Banks. One of my just all-time favorite players of all time, period. And the only person I had close to him was Ozzie Smith, but Ozzie Smith was mainly defensive. Ernie Banks was both. At third base, I have Mike Smith. One of the greatest ever. Only other persons that, I had Brooks Robinson, the human vacuum, and Wade Boggs, who just happened to be one of my favorite players, when I was a teenager. So then we move on to right field, where I have Roberto Clemente. Now, right field, you have the home run kings over there also, but Roberto Clemente was probably the best all-around player, defense and offense. You have the great Bambino, Babe Ruth, who was the greatest home run hitter of all time. And then you got right behind him Hank Aaron, who was the home run king, the all-time home runs. And to me, what that means is, Babe Ruth is the greatest home run hitter of all time, as far as what everybody else was doing at his time, how he was just blowing everybody away. There was no competition, as far as the home run races were going with him. And Hank Aaron, of course, the longest longevity home run, Didn't hit the most home runs in a season, but he hit the most in a career. Nice pace, Then we got center field, which obviously is Mickey Mantle. And behind Mickey Mantle have Ty Cobb, which is probably a bias. Who knows? But I love Mickey Mantle's power. So, I'll get Mickey Mantle above Ty Cobb. And, close third is Mike Trout, who you never know, man. Might one day top Mickey Mantle on that list. Then you got Ted Williams on left field, the greatest hitter of all time. You have Pete Rose, who's the same thing. He's a hit king, made it last, made a career out of it. But the greatest hitter to me is Ted Williams. Then you got Pete Rose, and I also came close. Second to me would be Barry Bonds. Just love Barry Bonds, man. Even when I knew he started cheating, but he started cheating so late that he really wasn't the first one breaking all the records. So it didn't bother me so much because he got in the game late. That's about it. So, the greatest probably impact player of all time is Babe Ruth. And, I just love the question when you have, when you think who's the greatest player ever, a lot of people say Babe Ruth. And you got to mention, well, who did Ruth say was the greatest player of all time? And he would say Shoeless Joe Jackson. So this video is getting long. Now I got to do my response for Silver Jackify. So what Silver Jackify wanted from us was to jump in the pool in y'all epic giveaway. So here we go. Na 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 epic giveaway! Love the hobby, people. Keep collecting baseball cards forever, Essa.